YouTube, what's up? It's your boy Crypto J coming at you with another J Talks Crypto. If you're brand new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification. I do my best each and every day to give you guys the top picks in cryptocurrency. And guys, we're going to talk about some PEPE today. We're going to talk about some Bitcoin. But I got to let you guys know before the video starts that I'm not a financial advisor. It's not financial advice. I'm just the homie Crypto J. You got to do your research at the end of the day. But yeah, we're going to talk about some PEPE coins. You guys can see PEPE up 5% today. Looking pretty good, right? Market up 2%. Bitcoin looking a little bit funky though, right? At a 1094 now. Is Bitcoin going to start breaking down? We do know that sometimes we see fake outs happen on Mondays. That's something that I told you guys. Beware of the Monday fake out, right? It looks like possible sign of a fake out here. Are we going to start seeing Bitcoin coming down a little bit? In my opinion, this might be a really good thing because I've been telling you guys that the fear greed index is just a little too high for me. Thinking that correction is definitely a little bit necessary. But at the same time, we're still looking pretty solid on some of our more longer term indicators, right? Like our 1 year chart looking still like we could still cut up, but it's looking a little bit speculative, right? Do we have a rising wedge forming here? That could be bearish. Also, I told you guys that this sideways price action in my last video, I was telling you the sideways price action sometimes indicates a lack of demand, and sometimes we could see the price drop down after a long period of coasting sideways. It just is an indicator that, again, the trade is starting to lack volume and might start breaking down pretty soon. But at the same time, guys, I'm still bullish on this cycle. I'm still bullish on 2025. I'm not saying that we are not going to still see a $200,000 Bitcoin. I'm just saying that the rate in which we have been moving has just been too fast. We're today at a 69. We are ticking back up, right? But at the same time, like, are we going to create a bull flag here and shoot into this extreme greed state, which again is indicator of tops in the past? Or are we going to do one of these where we head into this greed, right? We create a little McDonald's M and then we drop back down into the orange. Again, McDonald's M, drop back down to the orange. McDonald's M right here drops into the orange, right? We got something similar here, right? McDonald's M could possibly drop back into the orange, or again, maybe we do like more similar to like this, where we had this big run up, a little drop back, and then a shoot up. And then look, we were in this extreme greed state for like a couple of months, all right, but between February, really late February, and then really late April, I guess. So I guess like a whole 2 months or something like that of just insane greed and people that were, yeah, making money, I guess. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think that Bitcoin will shoot up to 120 and then do its thing? I do think that there is a chance that we do break up. I don't know, man. It could really go either way based off this fear greed index, right? Again, we've seen this thing break down. We know that generally recoveries take a little bit of time. You know, is it more similar again to this recovery that didn't take as much time, dropped into the yellow, right? Very kind of similar pattern, right? Very kind of similar amount of time also. And then look at this correction. This correction took months, dude. This was agonizing. It took all the way from really March all the way to August. You know, that was a long drawn out correction. And we've really only been in the correction now. Well, I guess now since December, right? Mid-December, and here we are in May. So it's been about 6 months now. About to be 7 months in June, right? Sometimes that's how it be. Sometimes you got to be a little patient, right? A lot of people got out of the market at the bottom, and I was telling people like, hey man, like we're sitting pretty low on the greed index now. Like that's not the time to always be locking in profit. In my opinion, the time to be locking in the profit is when we're again up in the green here. I wouldn't be like, people were selling down here. I couldn't believe it. You know, people taking massive losses, but this is what happens in this state of uncertainty, right? People locking in massive losses, which is just absurd to me. I really don't understand that because again, I'm somebody that looks for a cheaper price. So just totally wild. But let's talk about some PEPE coin. PEPE coin coming in at 5.7 billion today, up 5%, seeing a little bit of pump, but at the same time, is it starting to break down with Bitcoin, right? It was doing pretty good. Bitcoin was doing pretty good. It was printing earlier. And now again, PEPE coin looking a little bit like possible need of retest, right? On some of these indicators, like the 1 month looking a little funky, right? 1 month starting to coast sideways. We just talked about that sideways price action. Also, 7-day also looking like some sideways price action, as well as shoulder, head, shoulder, possibly. Yikes. Are we going to start breaking this neckline? If that happens, we can see a retest of some lower ranges. And again, that's going to be, in my opinion, dependent on Bitcoin and the health of Bitcoin. Because when Bitcoin is volatile, we just know that our market is also volatile. So again, PEPE coin sitting on some key levels of support. But I want to know what you guys think. Are you bullish on PEPE coin, or are you bearish? You guys could see this big red candle printing on the 1 hour, right? As Bitcoin starts to look a little bit volatile, market is just taking in profits, locking in profits, thinking that there's a possibility again that we saw at the top of our cycle. You can see Pepe right here creates this rising wedge, and it was dropping down, hoping that it would create some kind of a falling wedge, right? And bouncing off this second level. But look, we had a rejection of this zone right here, and then we started setting below this second Keltner channel, and it's just been bleeding, right? Again, are we going to see a shoulder, head, shoulder here? We break this neckline, and then that could be, again, something that drops us down. 1 hour looking like we could see some correction. 30-minute also looking like we're going to see a correction, right? Look, double retest of this zone, broke down, now creating a bear flag, right? There's not much support down here. There is a little bit of support down here, but there's not much support down here, in my opinion. This would be more looking like a short if I was just playing the markets right now. But I don't really play the markets like that. I'm not really swing trading. I'm not leverage trading. I mean, this is kind of like a swingers market right here, which is what I usually call this, a swingers market, right? The guys that are really making a lot of money are swinging, but at the same time, they're losing a lot of money too. It's an accumulation zone ultimately. I do think that the guys that, in my opinion, that are accumulating different coins right now, again, I'm not just, telling you to buy Pepe. As a matter of fact, don't buy anything you see in this video. I'm just saying, crypto's at a point right now where, again, you're seeing a lot of big institutions buying and people buying. You're seeing also a lot of retail fearful. This tends to be kind of how an accumulation zone feels, in my opinion. But we could have also seen a double top on Bitcoin. I got to point that out too. Because if Bitcoin did make a double top, then that could mark the end of our cycle. Look at Bitcoin now dropping under 109.5 as we speak, and looking like, again, it's probably going to have to see a retest of some of these lower levels. And that, again, is what we talked about on the channel. The early in the week fake out. Got to be careful of that early in the week fake out. What do you guys think, though? You guys think Bitcoin is about to break down, or do you guys think Bitcoin is about to absolutely explode? It could really go either way. Let me know in the comments section. Let's check out what the Peanut Gallery has to say. As you guys could see, Peanut Gallery, some of these guys are really bullish, right? Seems like a lot of them are really bullish. But one thing that we talk about, guys, when they are greedy, we're fearful. And when they're fearful, we're greedy. So we do pay attention to market sentiment, but at the same time, we look at a lot of other indicators. There's a lot of indicators that are telling me, again, that we have not seen a top to our cycle. Usually our top to cycle looks like this, right? There's a blow off top. We haven't really seen a blow off top, in my opinion. We started this cycle. Somebody asked me, oh, how long do you think the cycle is going to last, or when do you think the cycle is going to start? Well, I think that the cycle started in 2023. I think a lot of you guys just caught it this year, and it really, again, started in 2023. That was really our bottom, right? Our bottom was at 15K from the last cycle, right? So again, in my opinion, the cycle started 2023, and people are not taking a knowledge of the fact of that also, that Bitcoin went from 15,000 already to 109,000, and we're talking about it literally going to 200,000 this cycle. So we'll be talking about a cycle where Bitcoin has went from 15,000 all the way up to 200,000, if that's going to be the case, which is absolutely insane. And maybe that would fuel the arguments of $1 million Bitcoin if Bitcoin was able to do this. But I will say that if we do hit 200 to 250, which is not a given, that there is a chance that, a strong possibility that we're going to see a massive correction, because again, that tends to be how our cycles are, right? We see this blow off top and then we see a big correction down. We've seen it many times with Bitcoin. So that's why I always say Bitcoin is highly volatile. Only invest money that you're willing to lose. If you can't, especially if you're somebody that has a hard time being patient and stuff like that. A lot of people in the market right now are going to have a hard time being patient in this type of situation. But again, I look at these as opportunities. I don't overinvest. You know, if I'm really interested in a project right now and Bitcoin is looking like this, personally, something that I do, and again, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not your financial advisor, right? I already told you a million times, but one thing that I do when I don't know which way Bitcoin's going to go is instead of just aping in, right, to just putting all my money in, right, I'll actually put like maybe 25% to 50% in at the time. And then again, if the market decides it wants to break down, maybe put another 25% in. Just depends on how big the drop can be. I'm putting either 25% or maybe I might put 50% if I feel really good about it. But I'm usually not putting 100% of the money in that I plan to put in every single time. I'm looking for dips. I'm looking for to accumulate. So I try to buy things when stuff's on sale. Believe it or not, it's totally crazy, I know, but a lot of people like to buy the top. I like to actually buy the stuff when it's on sale, but it's up to you. Whenever you want to buy crypto, you can do that. We were talking about Bitcoin. Actually, when it gets really low, that's usually when I talk about it the most, to be honest with you. That's usually when I'm telling you guys about the fear greed index and what we're looking at. And again, when we were in that orange, I was telling you guys, hey guys, every time we've been in this orange, it's kind of been like not a crazy time to be buying crypto, right? Is that not the truth, right? You guys could see even back all the way from 2023, every time we dropped into this orange, it's kind of been like a decent zone. Right here, we dropped all the way into the red, and some of you guys were thinking, oh, it's into Bitcoin, it's over. Like, what? I don't think so, bro. But again, maybe we do need to see a retest of that orange. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I want to know what you think, though. Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll catch you next video. Peace.